Hello, Riley Creek School second grade class. I am the mayor of Gold Beach, and I'm really happy to be able to be here today and talk with you. I wish I could be in person, but it's really hard right now with the pandemic. I heard that you learned on Monday about what government is and that government has three levels, including federal, state, and local levels of government. And I am here representing local government as the leader of our city of Gold Beach. What do cities do? Firstly, remember that big cities like LA and New York and Portland are very different than our small towns like Gold Beach, Brookings, and Port Orford. Small cities provide services like police and fire, planning and zoning, water, sewer, streets, and parks. Let's go over some of these to kind of give you a better idea of what they're for. Police are probably the most easy to understand. We identify with them, we see them on TV. We don't always see them in person very often. But keeping the peace is the primary function of what our small force does. While we do have to arrest people sometimes, most of the time our officers are working to keep things from getting bad. They keep traffic speeds down, checking on people to see if they're okay, and answering routine emergency calls like accidents. Our fire department is predominantly volunteer, and they deal not only with regular fires, but they also assist with accidents, water rescues, and medical calls. Planning and zoning is a pretty big concept, but it deals with where things can be built. So like a house or a grocery store, typically housing would be in one area of the city and grocery stores would be in another area. And that's normally decided by the zoning of the land. By planning, how our city should be built in the future with leaders like myself providing that input to decide what buildings make sense and what locations. So we of course have to tie into state law, so we have to be careful not to break state law in making our own laws. So it gets kind of complicated. But we work together with the state of Oregon when we get ready to make changes to our planning and zoning, and we're actually getting ready to do that now. We had a housing study done, and we're trying to figure out how to make things easier for people to build houses so that we can have more housing available. One of our most important things that we do is provide water services. A clean water comes through the pipes, and we pull it from under the river in a well, and then we pipe it throughout the city. We treat it with chemicals, including chlorine, and we have people test it on a regular basis to make sure it's safe. Sewer is what leaves your buildings, like through your toilet. When you flush it, it heads out to the sewer lines. All of these sewer lines lead to the sewer plant where it's treated and made safe for disposal. The liquid gets turned into pure water and it goes under a drain field, which is pipes, underneath the airport. The solid part is shipped to a farm in the Roseburg area to be used as fertilizer. Without treating water and sewer, people get sick, and this is one of the first functions cities started to provide back in the really olden days to keep people healthy. Streets are also a part of city services, but it can get complicated because it's hard to know who owns what. For example, Highway 101 belongs to the state of Oregon, so it's a state function. And the roads in the Hunter Creek area, which is part of the city limits, belong to Curry County. The streets that the city owns and maintains are mostly the side streets throughout the city in the main part of town. Like 6th Street and Leith Road belong to the city, and those are the ones that lead to your school. Roads like North Bank Road on the north side of the river and Jerry's Flat on the south side of the river are county roads. However, when you get on Jerry's Flat Road, when you get to the Lobster Creek Bridge, that single lane bridge on Jerry's Flat, that becomes a Forest Service road, and that is run by the federal government. See how complicated it can be? But there's three levels of government right there just in streets, right here in our own area. Now, one of the fun things that cities do is provide parks. We have three of them. We have one at the South Beach Park where the visitor center is. It's right on the beach. And we have the Pocket Park, which is on the Moore Street stop sign, or stoplight, excuse me. And it's kind of kitty corner from the courthouse. And then we have the Buffington Park, which you're probably most familiar with because it has the Kid Castle, disc golf, and the tennis courts. And I wanted to talk about Kid Castle because it's been closed for about a year because of the COVID pandemic. And the state provided some laws and some guidance about how we were to operate Kid Castle if we were to open it. And we weren't able to do so because they had a lot of rules and regulations that we couldn't follow. But some parents came to a city council meeting and they said, we really want Kid Castle open. Other cities are doing it. Can you see if there's a way that you can do it? And they were very kind about it. They were saying, we'd really like to figure out a way to make this happen. Is there something we can do to help? Can we problem solve with you? We want to be solution oriented. So the city council asked our city administrator if she would please talk to the city attorney about if there's any way we can get Kid Castle opened. The attorney reviewed the law and agreed with the city administrator that the law does say you can't do it. However, he found a feasibility part, which I'm going to shorten because it was kind of complicated, but he basically found a way that the city council could order the staff to open the Kid Castle. And so the city council had a special meeting, and they made a resolution, which is a type of way of passing a law, to open the Kid Castle. It basically directed the Kid Castle to be opened. It explained why we were opening it and how we were going to make it safe, and that we were going to disclose that there's still some risks to the people that use it. So if you do use Kid Castle, please wear a mask, keep your hands clean with hand sanitizer, and try to stay away from your friends at least 6 feet if you can, so that if you do have a germ, you're not sharing it with each other. Most of you have heard these protocols before, and you probably don't want to hear them from me today. So that was one of the ways that citizens got involved with city government and got a change. And one of the key points I took from that is that the parents were very positive. They were solution oriented. They weren't yelling. They weren't screaming. They were like, hey, we really want to make a difference for our children. And so it worked. The city council was very interested in trying to do that, and they did. It was really great talking with you today. I hope we keep a dialogue open. Your teacher has my email address and my phone number if you'd like to get a hold of me. Or if you'd like to come to a city council meeting, we're doing them all on Zoom right now, just like you're doing, or you used to do your classes. And so we have interaction. You may want to bring an adult with you, but we'd be happy to listen to you. And maybe when the pandemic's over, I can come see you in your classroom. You have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.